Hello and welcome to Somerville, Highlander Baseball on Somerville Ed TV. I'm Todd Harmon alongside Tyler Aragao as the Highlanders host the Peabody Tanners. As Peabody comes in 5-5 overall, they are the Highlanders' lone loss this season, Tyler, and it's Colin Bourne on the mound for the Highlanders.
And it's a great opportunity for the Highlanders, a quick turnaround if you want to call it that, Todd. They picked up the win here at home against Everett back on Monday, and now looking for some redemption here against the Tanners.
Hot shot right up the middle, and there he is, Preston Artolino, showing off that glove and that range that we've gotten so used to here at Trum Field. As Artolino, a beautiful play to get Jacob Crocker out, the opposing pitcher right there, that 6-3 put out. You can see the range back behind second base there.
And good to see Artolino back in the field at short after he worked a really efficient and dominant 4 innings against the Crimson Tide here on Monday. Struck out 8, walked 4, but this is where he really excels. His bread and butter, the defense that he provides in the field and in that position from short. That's a good way to start this ball game defensively for the Highlanders.
Tyler Mosney up at the plate for the Tanners. Fouls that one off, runs the count even. 1 ball, 1 strike. These two teams met a few weeks ago at Peabody. Highlanders lost that one 7-6. As Hugh Cunningham Spear took the loss, Peabody was able to push the game-winning run across in the 6th inning. That's a shot out into left field. As Lemazny able to get a single down the line. Highlanders giving up some contact here. Colin Bourne on the mound, the senior starter for the Highlanders. Going to deal with Pedro Flores now, the right fielder for the Tanners. As Lemazny leads away, quick throw over, back in time.
Has some good contact early for the Tanners. Lemazny was part of things well in the mix in that 7-6 win. And he gets himself on base here early on a hard hit ball in the left.
Lemazny 2 runs scored in that game at Peabody. As he's back again. Aggressive lead here by Lemazny.
That's the sound that you're looking for early on in the game, especially from your top hitters, the top half of your order, especially against a pitcher like Bourne.
Fastballs down low to Flores for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. So Lemazny leads away from first. That's a curveball, sweeps just missing the inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Flores bailing out of the batter's box on that curve. So Lemazny leading away. Bourne fires over again. Lemazny back in time. Highlanders 7-1 overall, 7-0 in the GBL. 2 games out in front of Malden and Lynn Classical. At the top of the GBL are the Highlanders. That one outside. 3-0 count now to Pedro Flores as Bourne has fallen behind with a runner on first. 1 away here, top half of the first inning, just underway here on Somerville Ed TV. Chilly, overcast day here at Trum. Flores taking all the way, takes a strike. 3 balls and a strike now the count to Pedro Flores.
You know when Colin Bourne's at his best, Todd, he's in that attack mode mentality. Never want to fall behind, especially early in the game, but a chance to try and fight back.
Lemazny's away with the pitch. Flores swings and fouls that back into the screen. Lemazny will have to come back to first. Tanners did a lot of damage in the first 2 innings in their game a few weeks ago, as they were able to get 5 runs in the first 2 innings against the Highlanders. Looking for more early runs here in this one. Bourne now is battled back to full. 3-2 offering as Lemazny's away. It's a ground ball up the middle. Fusco misplays that one. Looked like Sean was planning where he wanted to go with that ball and didn't keep the head down on top of it. The E4 brings Flores to first and Lemazny over to second. And that'll bring up Ethan Waybrit. And that is not who the Highlanders won up. Is Waybrit in their matchup a few weeks ago. 3 for 3, 3 RBIs, including the game winner, came off of Waybrit's bat.
Really the man of the match, and you said it perfectly, Todd. Fusco could see that ball. It was hit hard on the line, right around his ankles. And before it could be collected into his glove, he just took his eye off of it for a split second, ate him up there down low, and didn't have a chance to make a play at second or first. And now an early jam for Bourne to try and navigate through.
Gets the called strike on the first pitch curveball. No balls, 2 strikes now, the count to Waybrit. That's a fly ball. It's going to go foul down the right field line. Out of play. So Bourne out ahead of Waybrit now. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 away here, top half of the first. Tanners are threatening with runners on first and second.
You have to be deliberate facing a hitter like Waybrit, but you can't be too overly cautious either. You want to attack and get ahead. Bourne's done that.
That's a hot shot right through the hole to the right side of the infield as Caden Martell fields it cleanly and right, gets it in quickly. The run will come around to score as Lemazny comes in from second. Waybrit has done it again as he singles into right field, gets the RBI, and the Tanners have runners on the corners with the 1-0 lead.
And just more hard and solid contact to begin this game for Peabody. Waybrit, arguably their most dangerous hitter in that cleanup spot. And even when you get ahead of him 0-2 like Bourne was able to do, he finds a way to connect and make contact on a screamer out in the right field. Everything's been on the ground for Peabody, but
Bourne now has Mason Palladino in a rundown, and they're going to get him out, but that's going to allow Flores to come in to score as the pinch runner in that situation, Palladino, able to keep in the pickle long enough. But now there's 2 away as Bourne deals with Jordalis Sosa at the plate.
That's one way to clear the bases.
Not necessarily the way the Highlanders wanted to clear the bases, but it's much better than a triple by Jordalis Sosa right here, clearing the bases. Fastball swings through that. Highlanders now trailing 2-0. Once again, the Tanners, just like they did at Peabody. Early runs here as that curveball fall into center field. Coming in on it is Tommy Griffin. He'll settle underneath and make the play. But the Tanners do early damage once again as they get 2 runs across on Colin Bourne. That was done on 3 hits. Highlanders got work to do early here as we move to the bottom half of the first inning on Somerville Ed TV. We are back at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV. Todd Harmon alongside Tyler Aragao as the Highlanders come up for the first time this game. They will face off against Jacob Crocker as he is on the mound making his first start this season. The senior does have 2 saves on the season as well.
They've been used more as a relief option this season in those high leverage situations, but a senior with plenty of experience coming into this, his first start of 2026. We saw the top half of the Peabody order find a way to start this game off aggressive and make hard contact off of Bourne. See what Ardolino, Griffin, and Bourne can do here against Crocker.
Ardolino behind in the count. That's a hot shot down the third base line. That's fair. Ardolino thought for a moment, didn't see a signal, so he slowed down a little bit on the way to first, but he is in with a stand-up double as Preston put a charge in that one right down the third base line for the double. Highlanders have something going. And they're now going to say it was a foul ball. As Matty O'Donnell not happy, understandably. not a very aggressive call by the umpire. You've got to take control in that situation. Ardolino slowed down on his way to
just going to say that, Todd. There was some hesitation there almost, and it did slow Ardolino down the line, but you could hear Coach O'Donnell all the way across the field. I thought that got over the bag fair down the third base side.
It was right in front of head coach Matty O'Donnell. Umpire saw it differently. 0-2 now the count to Ardolino as that's down in the dirt, back to the backstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count to Preston. Highlanders down 2 runs already, have to bounce back now from this situation. Frustrated by that possibly missed call. Another one down the third base line. That one's going to go foul. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes to Preston Ardolino. Watching Crocker as he warmed up pregame, looked like he had a good 4-seam fastball, a live slider or cutter. I couldn't quite tell which. But definitely movement on his off pitches. That one down in the dirt yet again. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count to Preston Ardolino.
Yeah, the arsenal diverse for Crocker in terms of how he wants to attack the right side versus the left side of the plate.
2-2 offering. There's a curveball. Didn't get it over. Preston now has battled back to a full count after going down 0-2. Something you noted before the game, Tyler, the Highlanders doing a really good job back on Monday of pitch selection and forcing the Everett pitchers to come to them as Ardolino watches the 4-seamer go outside all the way back to the backstop, and that is a walk. So Preston will be on first. Nobody out as Tommy Griffin will come to the plate for the Highlanders.
Well, we would have liked 2, but you'll take earning 1 there, and Ardolino drew 4 straight walks on Monday against Everett. 4 of the 11 walks that the Highlanders were able to draw in that game. So leadoff man aboard and see if the Highlanders can string something together now.
As that catches the outside. Strike 1 to Tommy Griffin. Ardolino leads away from first. Good size lead for Preston. As Crocker fires over. Preston back safely. That's in there for a called strike on the outside to Griffin. No balls, 2 strikes now the count to Tommy. Highlanders trailing 2-0 as the Tanners put 2 across in the top half of the first. Highlanders looking to answer back here in the bottom. Ardolino is away with the pitch. Throw is down and it's into center field. Preston thinks about heading towards third base, but it was backed up well by Ty Lamazny as Lamazny was quickly there to pick up that ball and keep Ardolino at second.
And Ardolino looked like he had his eyes set to third base the whole way, breaking in and on the dive to second. Good work in the outfield by Lamazny. As you mentioned, Todd, saving that ball from getting any farther.
1-2 offering from Crocker to Griffin. Tommy held up just enough to get a hold of that one. As Crocker took a little bit off it, that was the curveball. Colin Bourne stands on deck. He had a great game at Peabody. That is ball 2 to Griffin. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count.
These Highlanders hitters so far showing great composure despite falling behind early here to Crocker.
And now Griffin has worked the count full. Crocker's gone full to both the Highlander leadoff man as well as their number 2 hitter.
It's after starting them both off 0-2.
Yeah. Good battling by the Highlanders at the plate. Ardolino stands at second. Full count offering to Griffin.
Just a piece.
Stays alive. Gets just enough of it to get it back to the screen. Crocker checks Ardolino at second, kicks and delivers to Griffin. That's a chopper, left-hand side of the infield, and it gets by Sosa. Good play in left field by Nazaro as he was quickly in, preventing Ardolino from being able to move forward to home plate. But Griffin is on with that single into left field, and that'll bring up Colin Bourne for the Highlanders as he looks to help his own cause. With the bat here, runners on the corners, nobody out. Highlanders looking to get back in this game, trailing 2-0 right off the bat.
Well, on Monday, it was the bottom half of the order that really spearheaded things offensively for the Highlanders, but what a chance here to try and respond now. Bottom half of the inning, and your three big bats have the chance now to rescue this game.
Hot shot, shortstop, fielded there, possible double play. The turn from second, though, pulls the first baseman, Betancourt, off the bag. And Ardolino's able to come in to score on the fielder's choice, so the Highlanders have cut the Tanners' lead in half, 2-1. As Griffin out at second base on the fielder's choice, Bourne will stand at first. That'll bring up Sean Fusco for the Highlanders. So Bourne now his third RBI against the Tanners this year, as he was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, or 3 RBIs I should say, at Peabody. So 4 RBIs for Mr. Bourne so far against the Tanners this year.
An important spot, too, for the Highlanders to produce in, and Bourne would have loved to have driven that further into the outfield, but it's enough to cross one.
Fusco swings and hits that one back into the screen. One away here, bottom half of the first inning. Highlanders gave up 2 to the Tanners in the top. Have forced one across here with a Bourne RBI. And Fusco out ahead of the curve, swings and misses. Second out of the inning. Well, Crocker. It's not the second out. I was off on my count. 2 strikes, though, to Fusco. 1 ball, 2 strikes, now the count.
It's a nasty pitch from Crocker.
That one down into the dirt. Nice job behind home plate by Waybrett. We got to see on Monday the, I guess you could call it excitement that can come when pitches get back to the backstop here at Trum.
Very lively, and you never know where that carom could pop.
That one just outside the Fusco. Great eye there by Sean.
Another Highlander hitter to work count full. 3 full counts already for Crocker to navigate through.
Bourne is away with the pitch, and that's skied up into the screen. Count remains full.
I mentioned before we got on, Todd, but how important it would be for the Highlanders at the start of this game to really put pressure on to Crocker and have to make him work. First start of the season. He's been used in a different role this year, and be curious to see how far he'll go in this outing for the Tanners. But he's shown some good stuff early, and for as much as we've complimented the Highlanders in their approach for how they've battled, it's equal in part to the pitcher for how he's been able to fight and find a way to get outs.
Full count offering to Fusco. Fastball stays high and outside for ball 4. So Fusco is on with the walk. Highlanders have runners on first and second. Tying run moves into scoring position as Caleb Seeley steps into the batter's box for the Highlanders. 4 lefties here for head coach Matty O'Donnell, as you get Fusco and Seeley both swinging from the left-hand side of the plate.
Highlanders with 2 walks already in this game after having 11 drawn on Monday.
That was
13 on the week for the Highlanders, and getting on base allows for the order to move on through, and now you get towards the middle and the bottom, and that's really where a lot of the run production has come here, especially at home.
talking to head coach Matty O'Donnell. He's just been so impressed with the improvement that everybody on the team seems to have had over the offseason. They've come back, and he just said point blank, they're just playing so much better than they did last year. Everybody has improved. You look out in right field, Caden Martell really doing a great job out there, but all with the glove, but also with the bat. And in that number 9 position in the order, you talk about the bottom portion of the order doing damage, he's doing it, and that's like a second leadoff man down there.
Such a luxury to have when that production is coming from different sources, and the Highlanders know which bats they really need to rely on and they really need to come through. But when you can get production from those secondary sources and have that trust in your lineup from 1 on down through 9, it's a great feeling to have. And I'm sure for Coach O'Donnell, as this season's starting to progress from the early stages now on into the middle stages, he's got to feel very confident about the order he puts out there on a game-to-game basis.
Seeley skies that one into the screen. Count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes to Caleb Seeley. Highlanders knocking on the door here, already have 1 across, looking to tie things up or take a lead. As the tying run is Colin Bourne at second. Seeley out ahead of that one, and he swings and misses. First K of the game for Crocker, 2 away now, as Kyle Antonelli will step into the batter's box.
Crocker ahead in that at-bat to Seeley, and he's able to just work a really nice pitch to the lefty over that outer half of the plate. We've seen him work on the inside towards righties, and that time just a really nice pitch, and one that he needed to see get across there for that strikeout.
That's a ball to Antonelli.
Both of these teams starting this game off a bit differently when it's come to their approach. We've seen already the contact that Peabody's been able to make. Somerville doing it a little bit differently, making Crocker work and finding different ways to get on base and bring in runs.
Another nice block of the plate there by Waybrett. Pitch down in the dirt, keeps the runners where they are at first and second. Antonelli out ahead in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Runners are both away. Antonelli swinging, hits that one up into the screen. As the Highlanders looking for a little hit and run there. Crocker steps off the rubber. As we continue to see Betancourt kind of trying to slide in behind Sean Fusco at first base. Crocker keeping a wary eye on Colin Bourne at second. Peabody were very aware of the Highlanders' activity on the base paths. And they're away again, this one down in the dirt. Waybrett blocks the plate, but he's not going to have a play at either third or second, so Fusco and Bourne will take stolen bases. Now the Highlanders have the go-ahead run in scoring position as Fusco is at second, Bourne is at third, 2 away here.
The really
2-1 offering to Antonelli.
Really big block there from Waybrett, because as we've already mentioned, Todd, if that gets past him and off the backstop, who knows where that ball is bounding. And with the runners in motion in a 2-1 game early, it could have been an interesting scene to say the least. A really big block from the Tanner's catcher.
3-1 to Antonelli. He's fouled back into the screen. The 4th Highlander batter now of the 6 that have faced Crocker has gone to a full count. Crocker doing a lot of work out on the mound here in the first inning.
At the very least, you can hang your hat on that if you're the Highlanders, should you fail to bring these 2 around.
Full count and called strike 3. Antonelli frozen pizza there on the curveball. Highlanders able to push one across on the RBI fielder's choice by Colin Bourne. It's a 2-1 game as we move to the top half of the second inning here on Somerville Ed TV. back at Trum Field on Somerville EdTV as we move to the top half of the second inning. As the Tanners will have 6, 7, and 8 coming up. Betancourt, Smith, and Nazaro. Tanners leading this one 2-1. So the Highlanders were able to get one across in the bottom half of the first. Bourne starts Betancourt off with a fastball well high. Highlanders with a 7-1 record, Tyler, have the opportunity to secure a playoff spot with only 2 more wins, as they'll have an 18-game season this year. So 500 would be 9 wins. They are 2 wins away from that. So if they're able to pull off the win against Peabody today, they will be 1 win away from qualifying for the playoffs after being out of the playoffs for the first time in 4 years last year.
Quite an accomplishment, Todd, and one that I'm not sure this coaching staff would have projected so early on in the season, but speaks to how good this team has been out of the gates.
Betancourt walks on 4 straight balls. Bourne maybe fighting with his control a bit. Seemed to be leaving the fastball a little high. Jack Smith coming to the plate for the Tanners.
When you get hit like he did to begin this game, those 3 consecutive knocks after the Ardolino put out to begin the inning, might change how you reapproach things when you come back out, as that high offering was swung on and missed by Smith.
Yeah, high heat right there. Jack Smith swings right through it. Bourne ahead on the count, no balls and a strike. Smith squared around but pulled the bat back. Pitch was low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count.
We haven't seen the Tanners try and shorten up the bat here and play things a bit smaller after the hard and somewhat long contact they were able to get back in the first inning. Nothing through the air, but some real screamers along the ground.
Curveballs in there for called strike from Bourne. Bourne's got that classic slow curve, that classic kind of 6-12 is the way you think of it, but you would actually more call it like a 2 to a 6. As that gets by Antonelli on the bounce, Betancourt is going to be able to roll into second base on that wild pitch. Count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Smith.
Fusco coming over just to have a quick word with his pitcher. One thing's for certain, the believability in Bourne, whether it's from his teammates or the coaching staff, that never wavers, no matter how an outing might start. He's a leader for a reason on this team, and they're just going to need him to find a way to settle in here.
Fastball catches the outside for called strike 3.
Like that.
As Colin Bourne settles down and makes a beautiful pitch right there on the outside corner for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Matt Nazaro, the left fielder for the Tanners.
And that's the stuff that Colin Bourne can do, and full marks to his teammate there in Fusco for coming over, not needing to say too much, just saying the right things and getting his pitcher into the right mindset for that next approach.
Curveball sweeps right across the plate for strike 1. Nazaro about to bail out of the batter's box on that one.
Didn't know what to do there.
Frozen pizza.
See if Bourne keeps leaning on that pitch.
There's that curve once again. Didn't quite get it there. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count. Fastball down low for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to Nazaro.
We saw Weber with runners on the corners make a really important block. That was a nice job from Antonelli. Glove covering the 5 holes, so to speak. Not letting that get through the knees.
Fastball knee high for called strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, now the count to Nazaro.
Well, you flirt with that curveball for a few pitches, got to remember that the fastball is really your bread and butter. Well placed, excellent location.
2-2 to Nazaro. Hot shot, third base. Seeley comes up with it, fires across. It's a little bit late, and O'Brien not able to get it into the mitt. Seeley took a moment to get that ball across the diamond, kind of looking over for a moment at the runner, Betancourt. Froze Betancourt, but that also made the throw a little bit late.
I don't know if he underestimated Nazaro coming down the line there, but just held on to that ball too long over there at the corner. Pumped it at least 2 or 3 times before firing it across, and then O'Brien adding a little salt to the wound there for the Highlanders. Couldn't squeeze onto it there at first, and now they're on the corners with 1 down.
Ben Ouellette comes to the plate, number 9 hitter for the Tanners. Smith, or Nazaro I should say, is away with the pitch, and he'll take second base. So now the double play not in order for the Highlanders. As runners are now on second and third, Tanners looking to build on this 2-1 lead with 1 away here in the top half of the second inning. Fastball to Ouellette. Blows it right by him for strike 1.
At top of the order, set to come back around here, and makes losing out on that double play opportunity just sting a little bit more with 1 down.
Fastball fouled, right side, out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes now, the count to Ouellette.
Big spot here for another K if Bourne can induce one. Crocker due up. Rather face him in a 2-out scenario, even with 2 men on.
That's a fly ball, short center field. Tommy Griffin coming on will make the play. Long throw for Tommy.
Wow.
And wow, what an arm we see there from Tommy Griffin in center field as he keeps Betancourt at third base, saving a run with that arm on that fly out to center field.
And that ball hanging up there and giving Griffin time to charge into the shallower portions there of center field and get underneath it. But it wasn't the play underneath the ball, it was the cannon of an arm to get that back in and keep the runners where they are. Now 2 down for Crocker.
Crocker, top of the order for the Tanners. Hot shot by Crocker in the first inning. Beautiful fielded play by Ardolino behind second base to get the out. Crocker, Lemazny, Flores, as well as Waybrett all had good, strong contact in the first inning against Bourne. It's Crocker now behind in the count, no balls and a strike. 2 away here.
You know, Crocker would love to load them up for Lemazny. He'll step out.
Crocker looking to help his own cause. He's on the mound for the Tanners. Don't know how long he'll stay on the mound. He had 30 pitches there in that first inning. Colin Bourne, 15 pitches in his first inning. Curveball misses just outside for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count to Crocker. Bourne looking to get out without damage here in the second inning. Runners on second and third, but 2 away. Down low, got by Antonelli. Betancourt does not come in though. Ball 2, 2-1 now the count. Chilly day here at Trum Field, overcast as well. And Bourne will step off the rubber as Ardolino dancing at second base with the runner Nazaro. Two-1 to Crocker, fastball found back into the screen. Evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes now.
Just need 1 more from Bourne. In a big spot early on. Peabody very deliberate. with these two men on base and Crocker at the plate. Just knows he needs one hard hit ball.
And he got a hard hit ball deep into left field, but settling underneath it and making the play is Jackson Smith. And the Highlanders able to get out of danger here in the second as no runs come across to or left on. Highlanders look to even things up as we move to the bottom half of the second inning here on Somerville Ed TV. Back at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV, Todd Harmon alongside Tyler Aragao as the Highlanders have the bottom third of the order coming up to face off against Jacob Crocker. Donovan O'Brien will lead things off, followed by Jackson Smith and Caden Martell as O'Brien looks at ball one from Crocker. That's a fastball. Catches the outside for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count.
This bottom three of the order combined for 5 hits on Monday against Everett.
As O'Brien swings and slices that one over towards the visiting dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes, now the count to O'Brien. Highlanders trailing 2-1. Crocker had a lot of work to do in that first inning as he had 30 pitches in that first inning, running the count full to 4 of the 6 Highlanders that he saw. And now he's 2-2 against O'Brien. Fastball out into right field, ranging over and making the play is Pedro Flores. As O'Brien gave it a ride into right field, Flores easily able to make the play. Brings up Jackson Smith for the Highlanders.
Got a good charge into that ball, but on a day like today, things are gonna maybe not go in the direction or the distance that you're thinking or hoping. Nice job by Flores to get underneath it. Really the first ball we've seen driven through the air for the Highlanders. But most of the contact early on, it's been hard and along the ground.
It's Jackson Smith up to the plate. Watches strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count to Smith. Caden Martell waits on deck. He was huge against Everett back on Monday. Breaker right there from Crocker, and it breaks across the plate for strike 2.
Mixes in his pitches really well.
And Smith swings and misses. Waybritt's got to send it down to first, and he does, so a strikeout for the second out here. As Crocker mentioned, he went through 30 pitches there in the first inning. He would love to see a quick second inning here, as the Tanners would love to see that as well. Caden Martell, he wants to make him work and get Preston Artolino back up to the plate.
For the sake of self-preservation, an important inning for Crocker to work through quickly. But Caden Martell, he's proven all season long here that he's the farthest thing from an easy out in that 9-hole spot. Knows his job right now is to just try and give his team a chance to turn things back over to the top.
That's a chopper up the middle, might get through, and it does. And Caden Martell continues to find ways to get on base. Find the holes in the defense, just hit it right up the middle. Great job staying on that ball, not trying to do too much with it. And that gives Preston Artolino the opportunity here with a runner on base. Highlanders trailing by a run here in the second.
It's just what Martell's been doing all season long. The timely hit, even early on in the game when the Highlanders are just looking for a charge offensively.
As that pitch down into the dirt, Waybritt not able to get it as it bounced up off of his glove, up over his head. Caden Martell able to take second base on that. So now the Highlanders have the tying run in scoring position.
That took 2 bad bounces for Waybritt, one off himself and then one off the backstop. Tough to corral, and now Martell in scoring position here for Artolino, who we thought doubled to lead off the inning. And would he ever love to replicate that same swing again?
Curveball was in there for a strike. 1-1 now to Artolino. Fastball inside. Ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. That is another one of those pitches that a younger Preston Ardolino would have probably tried to go after. Good job laying off of it there. As that's a huge shot out into left field, and that is out of here, the home run for Preston Ardolino. And the Highlanders have taken the lead on the 2-run shot to left.
I'm going to say that was a fair ball, Todd.
I think that was a fair ball. Let's make sure. We'll double check with the umpires. Yes, that one was a fair ball, and the Highlanders lead this one 3-2.
Just a booming shot from Preston Ardolino. Hardest hit ball and farthest hit by far we've seen here at Trum Field. Just catches his pitch on an absolute rope, and when you get behind to a hitter like Preston Ardolino, you're going to get into some big trouble. And after getting robbed of a double early on in this game, I think he'll happily settle for a go-ahead home run.
2-out thunder off the bat of Preston Ardolino, and the Highlanders have the lead. Tommy Griffin watches ball one.
Just glad I parked my car further down the road, Todd.
That one's curveball in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes now to Tommy Griffin. We got to see Griffin's arm earlier in this game as he kept a runner at third base back in that second inning. Great job earlier here in the second inning. Great job coming in on a short fly ball to center. And his arm absolutely prevented Betancourt from coming in and scoring.
Saved runs, without a doubt, Todd. Without a doubt. Griffin's got 2 putouts already to begin this game out there in center field, and another veteran on this team, another leader for these Highlanders, and a guy that you just can really stick anywhere out there on the field, and he can produce.
Absolutely. We've seen Tommy on the mound. He came in relief against Everett. We've seen it at shortstop. He started at short in that game. Now center field, which is actually where Tommy normally has been playing. But he can go anywhere on the field, and he sends this one out into left field as Nazaro settles underneath that line shot. Good contact for Griffin, but Nazaro makes the catch, and that will do it for the Highlanders. But 2-out thunder off of the bat of Preston Ardolino on a big 2-run shot after Caden Martell did a great job with 2 outs, keeping the inning alive with a base knock. And the Highlanders lead this one 3-2 as we move to the top half of the 3rd inning here on Somerville Ed TV. Back at Trum Field is the Highlanders, with a powerful swing by Preston Ardolino, have taken the lead 3-2 as we move to the top half of the 3rd inning. Critical inning here for pitcher Colin Bourne, as he will be facing numbers 2, 3, and 4, the portions of the Tanner lineup that did the damage back in the first. Ty Lemasny will settle in. He singled back in the first and scored on Waybritt's single.
You know, these 3 hitters coming up for the Tanners, after seeing what Ardolino was able to do, putting a real rip into that ball over the left field fence. Lemasny, Flores, and Waybritt, all very capable of doing damage in their own right. So for Bourne and company, just about taking it one pitch and one at-bat at a time.
Another good knock there by Lemasny, but Tommy Griffin out in center field goes to the turf and makes the play.
Huge play again out in center field. Griffin doing a little bit of everything, and this time having to showcase the timing and the athleticism off, when to make that drop and dive, and keeping control of the baseball, hanging on to it the whole way. It's 3 putouts already for Griffin in center. And they're starting to get increasingly more and more challenging.
As Bourne starts Flores off with the curveball for called strike 1. Flores got on by virtue of an error and came around to score. That's a deep fly ball left field, and Flores has left the park for the Tanners, as he sent that one over the left field fence towards the Department of Public Works. Tanners have tied this one up with a solo shot by Pedro Flores. as it is 3-3 here at Trum Field. I said it as this game was getting started up, seeing the teams warm up. Tyler, I turned to you, I said, I think we're going to have a baseball game today.
We certainly are in the midst of not just any old game, Todd, but what's shaping up to be a really exciting one here. These teams matching each other now swing for swing. Ardolino, that big 2-run shot, and Flores, you want to talk about making no mistakes, finding your pitch and seeing it all the way through. I think Bourne just left that a little bit too high, and boy, Flores just underneath it all the way. That was launched.
Waybrett now swings and misses. Strike 2 is Bourne now, after giving up that home run, has brought some serious heat on those first 2 pitches to Waybrett.
That can wake you up, a swing like that. It should.
Took a little bit off that one. Swings and sends it into left field. Jackson Smith ranging over towards the line. He's able to make the play. Second out of the inning, and that'll bring up Jordalis Sosa, who flew out to center field to end the first inning. Tie ball game here at Trum Field, 3-3. We've seen some thunder from both teams. Curveball breaks across for called strike 1 to Sosa. Bourne seems to be leaning more on that curveball early in counts right now in this inning.
Definitely a noticeable trend. It's been there for him.
There's the fastball knee high in there for a called strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes, now the count.
You set things up there off speed. Allows for you to go back to the main aspect of your arsenal, and that's that lethal fastball.
And the slider gets the swing and the miss, and that will do it. But the thunder came from number 19, Pedro Flores' bat for the Tanners as they tie this one up. 3-3. We go to the bottom of the third. Highlanders look to answer back here on Somerville Ed TV. Back here at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV. Bottom half of the third inning. It's numbers 3, 4, and 5 for the Highlanders. Bourne, Fusco, and Seeley. As Crocker fires that one into the dirt, bounces over Waybrett to the screen. Bourne out ahead, 1 ball, no strikes. We've seen some offensive thunder here, Tyler, as Ardolino started it off for the Highlanders with a 2-run shot that gave the Highlanders the lead, and then Pedro Flores said, hey, that looks fun. I'll hit one there too.
And we were saying before they came up to bat, they witnessed that towering shot, and they wanted to get a chance to come back up and get it right back, which they did.
It's the chopper over to Jordalis Sosa at third base. He's able to make the play and get Bourne. That'll bring up Sean Fusco. Fusco walked and stole second. Back in the first, was left stranded there. Chopper up the middle for Fusco, and that'll get out into center field. Sean Fusco on with a single with 1 away here. Caleb Seeley will come to the plate. Fusco doing some first pitch swinging there.
Getting aggressive and getting ahead. Timed that swing and made good contact almost off the end of the bat, but enough to split the gap.
And Seeley, a chopper, second base, fielded well there by Smith. Fires it over to first, 4-3 put out. We'll get Seeley, but Fusco will move to second base. So the Highlanders, with 2 away here, have the go-ahead run at second as Kyle Antonelli will come to the plate.
Well, we saw last time what the Highlanders were able to do with a man on second and 2 down. And it doesn't have to be the shot that gets out over the fence. Just looking to get something here in play. We've seen the Highlanders excel in these spots, not just in this game, but in games past this season.
Hopper by Antonelli. Sosa backs up, fires towards first, pulled the first baseman Betancourt off, but really good reaction there by Betancourt, who's able to hop back to the bag, and that will do it for the Highlanders here in the third. We remain tied at 3s as we move to the top half of the fourth inning here on Somerville Ed TV. Back at Trum Field here on Somerville Ed TV. We move to the top half of the fourth inning as the Tanners will have numbers 6, 7, and 8 coming to the plate. Betancourt, Smith, and Nazaro. As Bourne was able to get out of that third inning after giving up that home run, it really looked like, Tyler, that this pop-up is going to just get into the Peabody dugout. Out of play, strike one to Betancourt. It seemed like after that home run by Flores, it kind of settled Colin and made him think, I'm just going to fling this ball. I'm just going to throw.
Said it then. It can serve as a wake-up call, and it certainly looked like that on the mound for the Highlanders pitcher with how he came back and attacked Waybrett, the very next hitter who already has shown in this game how dangerous he can be at the plate. And when you get into that type of zone as a pitcher, it can change things, and it starts oftentimes up there, in between the ears, a mentality and an attitude out there, how you carry yourself on the mound, and that's a demeanor from Colin Bourne that I'm sure the Highlanders know very well.
That fastball left outside, 2 balls and a strike now to Betancourt. Betancourt walked back in the second inning, was left stranded at third base. He was who was at third base on that short fly ball to center field that Tommy Griffin got back in so quickly, keeping Betancourt at third. So the curveball is in there for a called strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count to Betancourt.
And that curveball just continues to be there for Bourne, and when it's hitting, really only just adds to his arsenal as a pitcher.
There's that high heat, but Betancourt able to just barely tip it back into the screen, staying alive. Count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. Betancourt will step out of the batter's box. Highlanders, 7 wins on the season, 2 wins away from qualifying for the postseason. Also in first place by 2 games in the GBL. As Bourne took a little bit off it, Betancourt was out in front, and the Highlanders have the first out of the fourth inning. Brings up Jack Smith. He struck out looking back in the second inning.
Third strikeout for Colin Bourne. Ended the inning on Sosa with him swinging. And as you mentioned, Todd, using that curveball to set himself up and deceiving the hitter Betancourt, who just was fooled out in front.
Fastball fouled off towards Broadway. Think it hit a car. Sounds like a car just got hit.
Certainly did sound that way.
No balls and a strike now to Smith.
Somebody may be calling their local insurance agent.
This section of the game brought to you by Giant Glass.
Again, just makes me glad that I park where I do park for these games. I know the risk.
Bourne out ahead of Smith now, no balls and 2 strikes with 1 away. Curveball, Smith able to nub it back to Bourne at the mound. He'll fire it over to first for the out. 2 away here, top half of the fourth inning. That'll bring up Matt Nazaro, who reached on an error by Caleb Seeley at third. Back in the second, stole second base and was left stranded there.
Bourne only needed 10 pitches to get through the last inning, and after getting the strikeout on Betancourt, just got Smith once again out in front. You could see almost the half-heartedness in the swing there, and that's what induces that short tapper back up to the mound, and Bourne comfortably able to field it for that quick second out. Our scoreboard shows only 1, but
That's in there for a strike. Fastball fouled back into the screen. 2 balls and a strike. That was actually, that second pitch was a ball. I missed the call on that, so it's a 2-1 count now to Nazaro. 2 away here, top half of the 4th inning, tied up 3-3 as Nazaro fouls that back into the screen. Highlanders have Hugh Cunningham's spear going a little soft toss down the third base line. Cunningham Spear, the number 3 starter for the Highlanders this year, as that's sent into right center field, gets in behind Fusco. And Nazaro is on base for the 2nd time today, this time with a single.
a nice work there by Nazaro in that at-bat. Fouled a couple back there to the screen, but then was able to connect on the inside to a ball, which then dropped into a pretty favorable gap there out in the right field over Fusco's head, and this time Griffin couldn't converge onto it along with Martell.
Runner at first now as Bourne fires over. Nazaro back in time. Nazaro stole the bag back in the 2nd. Ben Olette at the plate. He flew out to center field to in the 2nd inning. Fired over, and he's got him. Picked off as Nazaro could have maybe gotten back with a slide, tried to get the foot back in instead, and the out, that'll end the inning on the pickoff there to first base. So we are still tied up at 3s as we go on to the bottom half of the 4th inning, as the Highlanders will have the bottom 3rd of the order coming up here on Somerville Ed TV. We are back here at Trum Field as Donovan O'Brien steps in against Jacob Crocker. Crocker starts him off with a breaker that catches the outside corner for strike 1. Tied up 3-3. Had a little bit of everything, like you were saying, Tyler, during the break there. This game has just had some errors, some great plays in the field as well, a couple home runs, and some great pitching performances as well.
And both pitchers have really had to dig in here in a game that's featured a little bit of everything, some sloppiness in the infield.
O'Brien, hot shot right up the middle, and the Highlanders have the leadoff man on here in the bottom half of the 4th inning of the tied game, as Donovan O'Brien is in with the single at first.
And this is what these hitters do, the 7, 8, and 9 hole guys for the Highlanders. They just find a way to string it together, to chip things together, bit by bit, piece by piece. Nice base knock there for O'Brien on another ball, hardly hit.
That brings up Jackson Smith. He's 0 for 1, striking out back in the 2nd. Swings and misses at the fastball from Crocker. Highlanders have the leadoff man on. O'Brien back quickly as Crocker tried the quick throw over. On deck awaits Caden Martell. He's got a single and a run scored today, as that pitch is down low for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Jackson. Curveball gets by Waybrett, and O'Brien will take second base. Yeah, we're going to call that one a pass ball.
Yeah, Waybrett's done a nice job in this game behind the dish, especially early on when Crocker was really needing to utilize a lot of pitches, expanding himself. But that one got away from the Tanner's catcher, and we see it again, Todd. Off that backstop, O'Brien hesitated a little bit. He thought that Waybrett was going to pick it out of the dirt, but it hit off the backstop, and Tanner's catcher just never had a chance.
That one seemed to die off the backstop instead of bouncing back that we've seen as well, as Jackson Smith swings and misses his second strikeout of the game. That'll bring up Caden Martell. He has been excellent so far this season for the Highlanders in that number 9 hole. Kept the inning alive with 2 away in the second, getting Preston Ardolino up. He was on base when Ardolino hit that towering shot to left. Fastball's in there for called strike 1 to Martell.
Martell was 2 for 4, a couple RBI singles, came around to score twice on Monday. Doing it all from that same spot.
And Waybright unable to control that one as well. As it bounced away from him, the wild pitch is going to move the go-ahead run for the Highlanders up to third base with only 1 away. Count to Martell, even at 1. So the Highlanders have the go-ahead run at third with only 1 away. Caden Martell at the plate looking for another RBI this year as he swings and fouls that back into the screen. Peabody infield drawn in now on the edge of the infield grass. One ball, 2 strike delivery, and they've got O'Brien leaning the wrong way. As the throw goes to Waybright, and he squeezes too early. He comes out of the glove, and the Highlanders have the lead.
Mentioned, Todd, how this game has shown us a little bit of everything, and mentioned some of the sloppiness in the infield. I agree with one of the Peabody parents back to our right. O'Brien, he looked dead to rights there.
He was.
And you said it, Todd, leaning the wrong way, got caught well off the third base bag, and it looked like they had him gunned down at the plate. And Waybright, who prior to this inning was really solid from a defensive standpoint.
This one's coming to me.
Here you go, Todd.
I got it on the bounce.
I thought that was landing right in the breadbasket for you.
As it was coming, I was getting a little bit nervous, but I still have a little skill with the glove, even without a glove on. Highlanders taking the lead on the error by the catcher Waybright. And it just looked like he tried to squeeze that ball too quickly before it got into his glove.
And I'm just not sure, Todd, if he heard the footsteps of O'Brien coming down the line and just felt the heat of that play.
Swing and a miss there as Crocker tunes up the band a bit with a high heat to get Caden Martell. That will bring Preston Ardolino to the plate, 2 away here, bottom of the 4th inning. Last time he stepped up to the plate with 2 away, he sent one out towards DPW with a 2-run shot.
See how Crocker will approach seeing him for the 3rd time after walking him, and then the long ball.
That one in the dirt. Ball 1. O'Brien started this inning off with a single, advanced to second on a passed ball, advanced to third on a wild pitch, and advanced home on a messed up pickoff where the catcher did not cleanly catch the ball.
Could write a whole odyssey with how he got all the way around to score. But that's what this Highlanders team needs to do, especially against an opponent like Peabody, Division I program.
Yep.
Top 50 ranked.
Got to find a way to win. That curveball, I don't think it caught it. No balls, 3 balls and no strikes now to Ardolino. Looks like Crocker dancing around the edges to Ardolino. Doesn't want to come to him.
A little bit further in on that last pitch.
That curveball was in there for a strike earlier, but that was a ball.
That was hanging in, not maybe in a spot where Ardolino could really get his eyes onto it, but Crocker living a little dangerous on that last pitch.
And that's a hot shot out into right field. as Ardolino gets another hit. Big turn at first base. Ball brought back in quickly by Pedro Flores. 2 for 2 on the day is Preston Ardolino. 2 runs scored, a single, a home run, and a walk. Those have been his plate appearances. Brings up Tommy Griffin. Griffin, good contact out to left field the last time he was up. Ardolino away with the pitch. Waybrit with the throw down. It's a poor throw. Gets by the second baseman. Backed up well, though, by Ty Lamazny.
Second time Lamazny's had to come through with that defensive coverage backing up the play from center field. Waybrit just trying to get it away in a hurry and on a line.
Ardolino filling up the old stat line, his second stolen base of the game as well. So now the Highlanders have another runner in scoring position, already leading 4-3. After the blown pickoff allowed Donovan O'Brien to score. That's in there for a called strike as the curveball catches the outside to Griffin. Griffin's had a big game in the field, a great catch out in center field, and a great throw home after another catch to make sure that a runner on third did not advance. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Griffin. 2 away here. Highlanders looking for a 2-out run. They've got Ardolino in scoring position at second. That's down in the dirt. Good job by Waybrit keeping that in front of him. He struggled with that this inning. He did fantastic with it earlier in the game.
Sometimes it doesn't matter the sport or the position, but when one mistake can happen, things can tend to compound. And Waybrit trying to settle things back in from behind the plate.
Ardolino away with the pitch. This is out into left field, and not able to come up with it is Lamancy, so Griffin is in with an RBI double as the Highlanders have taken a 2-run lead.
And I thought, Todd, that Lamazny was going to get that at the very last moment. That ball was hit hard and deep by Griffin. And Lamazny, despite his best efforts there, tracking that ball down on a run and then trying to hit the deck and time it up, much like we've seen out there in center field here today.
It looked like it had a little bit of a hook towards the left field as it came off the bat of the righty Griffin, and it just danced far enough away from Lamancy that he wasn't quite able to get to it.
Highlanders will take anything they can get here to just try and build some insurance up now before this game starts to progress into those high leverage situations.
Colin Bourne puts a charge into it into center field. That's going to get over Lamazny all the way back to the tennis basketball courts. Another run is in for the Highlanders. They've doubled up the Tanners. 6-3 is the Highlander lead.
Back-to-back big-time shots here for the Highlanders. And some more impressive work being done at the plate, Todd, in 2-out situations. This Highlander team just showing their resilience and showing how they're the farthest thing from a one-man show. It is not just Preston Ardolino or Tommy Griffin or Colin Bourne from the top of the order. It can stem and flow all the way down, and O'Brien really kick-starting things off. And
Coaches, he needs to come out of the game. That is ridiculous. He's grabbing himself. Yeah, you're welcome.
Not totally sure what's going on.
Nope, missed that one, Todd.
Missed all that, but we do have a pitching change here as Jack Smith will come in. Smith from second base. So now Navarra, we'll see who goes where as this plays out. Let's see here. As parents getting frustrated. Umpire asking for coaches to be coaches, parents to be parents. Jack Smith trying to warm up as he tries to get ready to face off against the Highlanders. They've run Jacob Crocker off with a huge inning here in the fourth as they put 3 across, all of it with 2 outs. As you pointed out, Tyler, 2-out thunder. That's how the Highlanders have done it today. They've scored 5 of their 6 runs with 2 outs.
And for Crocker, I would say Todd deserved a better fate.
Yeah.
Showed a lot of fight in this game. The 30-pitch first inning, right? Things could have gone haywire after that point, but he found a way to settle himself in, pick up some important outs. He struck out 4 in this game, including Smith and Martell, after that debacle led to O'Brien coming all the way around. I mean, you can't control anything on a pass ball. The wild pitch gets O'Brien up to third, but then that E1, there's only so much that you can control on the mound there as a pitcher, and that's where things started to devolve a little bit in this inning for the Tanners. O'Brien came around to score, and then after the back-to-back Ks, you get to that top of the order, and both of these teams have not been shy flexing their muscles up top, whether it's been Somerville or Peabody, and in this case, it's Somerville's big 3 getting the job done in a different script than what we saw, I think, on Monday, Todd, against Everett, when it was those rather unsung heroes stepping up for the Highlanders and contributing 9 runs through the first 3 innings. Today, while it has been spread around, we've called everybody's name. No doubt it's Ardolino, Griffin, and Bourne leading the charge in all facets.
No doubt about that. Ardolino, a huge game today. He's 2 for 2 with a home run, a single, 2 stolen bases, 3 runs scored. Colin Bourne has an RBI. He stands at second right now. Tommy Griffin's been huge in the field, saving a run with a great throw from center field, saving another run, frankly, with a great diving play in center field to make an out. And he also doubled home a run with an RBI here in this inning. Sean Fusco now up to the plate as he is the first Highlander Jack Smith will face. As Smith leaves that one up high and outside for ball 1.
Fusco got a pretty good tag last time up against Crocker. Solid contact on a base hit, and that's all the Highlanders need right now.
It's up high for Fusco, ball 2. Crocker has moved to shortstop. Ben Olette has gone to the bench. They have brought in number 11. That's Mason Palladino. He's playing second now, and that's where Jack Smith was playing earlier. I think those are all your positional changes. Two outs here. Colin Bourne leads away from second. The pitch from Smith is inside to Fusco. Evens the count. Highlanders looking for another 2-out RBI here. As we noted, 5 of the 6 Highlander runs have come with 2 outs. And Fusco walks. And Smith leaving the pitch up high. Highlanders now runners on first and second. Caleb Seeley will come to the plate.
Second walk that Fusco's been able to draw. And if you go back to Monday, walked his first time up, was hit by a pitch, and swiped a bag.
Fusco, one of those players you like to have on base. He's got speed. That's in there for a called strike to Seeley.
Deceptive hitter, though, Fusco. I think we've seen that this season, the games we've called here at Trump Field, Todd. Very versatile, but such a weapon on the bases.
Seeley goes down 0-2 now.
Down by 3 here. It's where you need Smith to give you his best pitch here to try and sit Seeley down on 3.
Seeley staying alive. Tips that one over towards the Tanner dugout.
4th inning right now. You got out to the early lead. Now you're behind a couple of runs. Really the first time in this game that either team's gotten some separation on the scoreboard. So right now for Smith and the Tanners, it's just about damage control. What you can limit here with 2 men on and 2 down.
Smith leaves that one up high. Ball 1 to Seeley. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count. Highlanders have put 3 across here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, taking a 6-3 lead. And that one's a hot shot foul here to the first base side.
This is what these Highlanders hitters have done all game long, Todd. Whether it's them getting behind in the count 0-2, their ability to hang in there, fight off some pitches before finding the one that they want and making that contact, which we've certainly seen and heard here today.
1-2 offering to Seeley, and that'll get to the backstop, but it bounces right back. Waybritt able to benefit from the bounce that time. Highlanders not able to advance. Seeley evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Bourne is at second, Fusco at first. As Seeley watches ball 3.
It's at least the 5th or 6th time in this game now, Todd, and I know we saw it earlier in the first inning when 4 of the first 6 batters were able to load it full, but from 0-2 down, another Highlander hitter fighting his way all the way back as they got
Fusco picked off that time as Betancourt did a great job running in behind him. Sean Fusco picked off, and that will do it for the Highlanders here in the bottom of the 4th, but the damage was done as they put 3 across, doubling up the Tanners. 6-3 the Highlander lead as we move to the 5th inning here on Somerville Ed TV. We are back here on Somerville Ed TV as the Highlanders lead 6-3. We go to the top half of the 5th inning as the bunt is laid down and it is foul. As the replacement at second, Mason Palladino, getting the opportunity at the plate here. In the number 9 slot. Palladino behind now, no balls and a strike after fouling that off. That's in there for a called strike. No balls, 2 strikes now, the count to Palladino. As Bourne looking to hold the Tanners down here. Swing and a miss by Palladino. 1 away here, top half of the 5th inning. That'll turn the Tanner line over as Crocker will come up. Crocker will close the book on him as a pitcher today. He went 3 2/3, 8 hits, allowed 6 runs on those 8 hits, walked 2 and struck out 5. He is currently in line to take the loss.
Almost 80 pitches, finished with 79, and when you think about it, Todd, 30 of those pitches came right off the bat in inning number 1. Full marks to Crocker in his first start of the season. Mentioned a couple saves he's picked up, and to get 3 2/3 out of him here on the road, and to be only down by 3 after just really 1 big inning for the Highlanders, you'll take that. Because if you're Peabody, you've got to think, for what your top half of the order can do, our top 3 hitters can match that as well. And so a 3-run lead right now, you feel good if you're the Highlanders, but far from safe, if you ask me.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. As Bourne gets that across for the first strike of this at-bat. He's down 2 balls and a strike to Crocker. Crocker 0 for 2 on the game. He grounded out the shortstop Preston Ardolino right up the middle to start this game. Great play by Ardolino to get the out, and he flew out to left field. That's a hot shot. Left-hand side, O'Brien takes it on the short hop. Great play there by Donovan O'Brien to pick that ball, and he'll take it 3 unassisted for the second out of the inning. That brings up Ty Lamazny. As Lamazny 1 for 2 today, singled, scored a run back in the first, flew out to short center field as Tommy Griffin made a great play going down to the turf to steal a hit from Lamazny.
Another hard hit ball along the ground in this game, and we've seen both infields at times have trouble defending on the interior, but really nice scoop there from O'Brien on a hop and then getting the put out unassisted.
1 ball, no strikes now to Lamazny. As the curveball's short there for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
proof that defense at first base too, something that sometimes you take for granted. You're not just standing there waiting for the ball to get in your glove across the diamond. You're out there having to make plays.
Great job.
It's Lemazny now. Up 2 balls and a strike. 2 away here. Top half of the 5th inning. Highlanders leading 6-3. Love to see Bourne get through this inning quickly. Could get him back out for a 6th inning. As Bourne up in the 60 pitch range. This is getting him up around the 70 pitch range. As he's behind 3-1 to Lemazny. Highlanders had Hugh Cunningham Spear warming up earlier. That's a line shot out into center. Griffin's going to have to step back and play it on the hop. And the Tanners have something going here with Lemazny at first and 2 away. That's going to bring up the man who hit the big one off of Bourne earlier, Pedro Flores. He is 1 for 2 today. He reached on an error back in the first and scored a run. And then in the third, he loaded up the cannon and hit a huge home run over the scoreboard in left field. Conversation on the mound as Matty O'Donnell came out to talk to his pitcher, Colin Bourne, with 2 away here in the top half of the 5th inning. Infield getting themselves together as well. As Lemazny, he's got speed at first base.
Just trying to put myself into that Highlander dugout right now, Todd, and I have to believe the message and the mission right now for Colin Bourne is to get Pedro Flores out by any means necessary and have that be where this outing likely comes to an end. But depending on how things go in this at-bat, maybe, like you said, partner, can squeeze 1 more inning out of him.
Dangerous hitter Waybrett on deck as well. So important at-bats here for Colin Bourne. That one's short for ball. So Lemazny leads away. And he is away with the pitch, swing and a miss by Flores, but Lemazny will take second base. Bourne and the Highlanders really want to get Flores here. Don't want to allow him to get on base and bring Waybrett to the plate as the tying run. Bourne steps off the rubber and looks Lemazny back. Highlanders have a huge game coming up Monday against Lynn Classical. Team 2 games behind them in the GBL.
Big implications for the GBL standings.
The throw, I should say, back to second base. Lemazny back in time. So Highlanders, with that impending important game on Monday against Lynn Classical at Lynn, will probably keep Preston Ardolino in the field today, holding him for the start against Lynn Classical. That's popped up. Ardolino and Fusco. It'll be Fusco, and that will do it for the Tanners here in the 5th, as the Highlanders able to leave one stranded at second base. They keep their 3-run lead, and we will head to the bottom half of the 5th inning here on Somerville Ed TV. We are back here at Trum Field, moving to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Highlanders leading it 6-3, as they will have the bottom portion of the order. Caleb Seeley back up to the plate, as he was at the plate when Sean Fusco was picked off of first base.
And worked another full count too before that pickoff. New pitcher though in the game here, Jake Smith. Trying to stabilize some things here after a big 4th inning.
Seeley fouls that one off towards the Tanner bench. Quick update as I look over to the softball field. It appears the Highlander softball team has defeated the Chelsea Red Devils by the score of 7-6. A barn burner over there.
Heard a lot of hooting and hollering going on next door. A lot of excitement, especially later on in that game. I glanced over, it was 5-5, then 6-6. Seemed like the teams were just trading runs.
Revenge game for the Highlander softball team as they lost at Chelsea. That's their second GBL win this year. So they beat Lynn English as well, their third overall win. Antonelli now up to the plate after Seeley struck out for the second time today. Highlanders leading this one, 3 runs. Pushed across back in the 4th inning. They lead by those 3 runs. Fastball from Smith catches the outside to Antonelli. Jack Smith came on in the 4th inning, got the last out of the inning after walking Sean Fusco, picked Fusco off of first. Now he's out ahead of Kyle Antonelli, 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th.
Got a nice rhythm going on here early.
Called strike 3. 2 straight strikeouts for Jack Smith. And that will bring up Donovan O'Brien. O'Brien singled back in the 4th inning, advanced to second on a passed ball, advanced to third on a wild pitch, and came in to score after being picked off of third, but the ball was misplayed as he rumbled into home plate to score the go-ahead run at that point in time.
Just looking at the mechanics of Smith and how he delivers his pitch, it's almost like there's a secondary movement where he almost stops to hold the ball right above his head and then follows through and finishes, and it almost seems like it's throwing the timing off here for these Highlander hitters.
A little delay there as he steps towards the plate.
It's that motion of the arm coming up to the head, throwing up and over the head, almost instead of across the body.
And Smith will strike out the side. Wow. 2 of them looking. 1, 2, 3 go the Highlanders. They still lead by 3 though. As we move to the 6th inning, it's a 6-3 Highlander lead here on Somerville Ed TV. Back at Trum Field on Somerville Ed TV, Highlanders leading 6-3. Colin Bourne back out on the mound for his 6th inning of work. He will go up against numbers 4, 5, and 6. Ethan Waybrett, Jordalis Sosa, and Mark Betancourt. And Bourne starts Waybrett out with a fastball on the outside for strike 1. We were talking during the break, Tyler, the Tanners have done most of their damage in that 2, 3, 4 hole in the batting order. If the Highlanders can get Waybrett here, he's already down 0-2 after that foul into the screen. They may not have to deal with the top of the order again, as there are only 2 innings remaining.
Bourne's had a couple of innings here today where he's been able to work efficiently, and getting one here to conclude an outing like this.
Back to Bourne, he reaches up, grabs it, fires to first. And that's out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. That'll bring up Jordalis Sosa.
15 pitches last inning. Started the inning off with a strikeout. And when he's in rhythm and on time, you can see it all the way from where we're sitting. It is fun to watch him deal.
As the fastball right there blows right past Sosa. Great location on it too. Low, knee high.
He's been finding that spot with the fastball more so. Haven't really seen too many of those fastballs scale upstairs.
There's that curveball. Sosa dives away from it. It does stay inside. Did not break across the plate. Count evens 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think we saw a couple of those elevated fastballs from Bourne early on in the game, Todd, but the more he's mixed that curveball in, the harder he's been to hit. He just blows that straight past Sosa. I mean, you want to talk about a pitcher overpowering a hitter there.
That's some spicy mustard coming from Colin Bourne on that pitch.
Little Dijon.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Do you happen to have some Grey Poupon? Colin Bourne says yes. Then he comes with that curveball. Great job by Sosa to get any sort of contact on that.
Especially when it looked like he was going to get all tied up there at the plate, just even making contact there to stay alive. Give yourself a chance now to see one more pitch, but Bourne's been working that sequence well more and more as this game's progressed.
Brings the heat again. He was ready for it. Ground ball to Ardolino at short. Fast runner, but Ardolino's got the gun and puts Sosa out.
Definitely have to give a tip of the cap to Sosa's hustle there down the line. Stretched himself out just about as far as he could go. Looks a little ginger maybe heading back to the dugout, trying to beat that throw out from Ardolino. Throws great from Preston, but how about O'Brien on the bag, anchoring things down and getting the stretch there too. The big man over at first.
Yeah, good stretch, good reception there. Big play that we saw Ardolino make. I think it was against, in the first game against Classical,
yes,
when he was deep in the hole. It was O'Brien who finished that play with a great stretch and keeping his foot on the bag. As Betancourt swings and misses at the curveball. Bourne is up, no balls, 2 strikes, with 2 away here in the top of the 6th. Highlanders holding on to a 6-3 lead. Grounds that one over towards the Highlander dugout. Count remains 0-2. Bourne now up over 80 pitches today.
See if he gives us one last curveball here. In an 0-2 count. He's leaned on the fastball when it's come to the putaways.
Sticking with the fastball, bringing the high cheese, and that is strike 3. As Bourne picks up another K, Highlanders hold on to the 6-3 lead. We go to the bottom half of the 6th inning here on Somerville Ed TV. We are back here at Trum Field. Highlanders leading this one 6-3 here on Somerville Ed TV. Todd Harmon alongside Tyler Aragao. As the Highlanders will have numbers 8, 9, and 1 coming to the plate. Jackson Smith is not hitting actually for the Highlanders as I look up and realize that's Hugh Cunningham Spear, who might be coming on in relief for Colin Bourne. He was doing some soft toss earlier, but right now he's in pinch hitting. That's down in the dirt from Jack Smith. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the count to Cunningham Spear.
How about Jack Smith last inning? His first full inning of work after coming into relief for Crocker.
Set him down 1, 2, 3, all Ks.
He's
2 of them looking.
He's gunning right now.
No doubt.
Hammering that strike zone. He understands his assignment. Throw strikes and get outs.
He's up 1-2, now evened up 2 balls, 2 strikes to Hugh Cunningham Spear. Spear took a loss in the game at Peabody, as he is the Highlander number 3 starter this season, young sophomore player. Called strike 3, the 3rd straight strikeout with a called 3rd strike, the 4th straight strikeout overall for Jack Smith on the mound for the Tanners. That's going to bring up Caden Martell. Martell 1 for 2 today, single and a run scored, and he struck out in the 4th.
Last 3 for the Highlanders, all going down looking.
Caden's not going to look at it. He'll pop this one up. Crocker is back onto the outfield grass and makes the play. So 2 quick outs here for the Tanners in the bottom of the 6th. Highlanders turn the lineup over, and Preston Ardolino will come to the plate. He's 2 for 2. With 3 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, 3 RBIs, actually 2 RBIs, and that came off of a booming shot to left as he hit a huge home run for the Highlanders back in the 2nd.
And his 5th walk too this week. That's how he led off this game. Walked the first 4 times up on Monday. Began this game by getting on base, and that was after he had, and I'll just say it, Todd, he had a double rob for him to begin this game. He did.
Yes.
And you know, that can change things right off the bat, not just for Ardolino, but for the team. And Highlanders did not get flustered. Ardolino stepped right back in and despite being in the count, down 0-2. When he hit that double, he stepped right back in, worked the walk, and has just continued to do what he's done from a leadership standpoint, and that comes through production.
There's that one.
That was a very near miss there by Smith. Very near.
Good eye by Preston. 3 balls and a strike now.
I thought he was going to get another one.
That's in there for a called strike. Count runs full now. Swing and a miss. And Jack Smith has come on in relief. And in his 2 1/3 innings worth of work, he has struck out 5 Highlanders. What a job there by Jack Smith in relief, keeping the Highlanders within reach as we go to the top half of the 7th inning. Highlanders leading by 3, 6-3 here on Somerville Ed TV. Back here at Trum Field is Colin Bourne out looking for the complete game. He will go after the bottom third of the Tanner order. Smith, Nazaro, and Palladino. The first pitch there from Bourne to Smith is inside for ball 1. Bourne right around 90 pitches as we go into the 7th inning here. Highlanders lead by 3. Is Bourne looking for the complete game. Fastball left up high for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes now to Jack Smith. Jack Smith has come on in relief.
Phenomenal.
He's gone 2 1/3 innings. He's struck out 5 Highlanders. And you made an excellent point, Tyler. He's got that little hitch at the top of his delivery, and I think that's throwing off the Highlander timing.
Got that big-time punch-out on Ardolino swinging after inducing not three consecutive, but his last 3 strikeouts prior to that one on Ardolino, all catching Highlanders looking. He stemmed the bleeding, gave his team a chance. Good run prevention, doing what a reliever should do. Now can he help himself out here at the plate?
Highlanders looking to close that chance down here. And Colin Bourne heats it up a little bit with that fastball, evening the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Over 90 pitches now for Bourne.
Big fastball there from Colin Bourne as he tunes up the band and throws it past Jack Smith.
He's up to 5 Ks now, and you know, Todd, we've really seen him work between the fastball and the curveball. A little bit of a slider gets incorporated every now and then, but those are really his 2 pitches. But when he needs that put down, it's nothing but gas, and he gets Smith swinging.
As Nazaro comes up, he offers at it for the bunt for strike 1. Matt Nazaro, he is 1 for 2 today. He's reached base both times. Reached by virtue of an error in the 2nd. And singled back in the 4th. Highlanders leading by 3, 6-3. Bourne on the mound looking to complete this game. 1 ball, 1 strike. As they check down to the first base umpire to see if there was a swing on that bunt offering, he pulled the bat back. There's the curveball from Bourne. Not much on it as Nazaro able to make contact. Little nubber down to first base, and the Highlanders are 1 out away from winning this one and taking their 8th win of the season, leaving them 1 shy of playoff qualification. That's going to be Palladino coming on, as he came in as a pinch hitter back in the 5th. Struck out swinging and swings at the curveball in the dirt.
Palladino, one of the 5 strikeout victims for Colin Bourne here today. And Bourne would love nothing more than to end this game with not just a punctuation mark, Todd, but an exclamation mark.
Swung on and missed as Bourne tunes it up.
Right back to the well.
1 strike away from taking this game and avenging their lone loss of the season.
Right back.
Fastball catches the outside, cold strike 3, and the Highlanders have taken this one by the score of 6-3. Tyler, this game had a little bit of everything like you were saying earlier. We saw some great defensive plays. We saw some defensive mistakes as well. We saw 2 home runs, for goodness sake. We saw great hitting, great pitching as well. It was just a great baseball game to watch.
You really couldn't ask for much more. Fantastic effort all around, both from the Tanners and the Highlanders here. Colin Bourne, he's my man of the match, leading the way, the complete game effort. And with how he came out here in the 7th to end this game, 2 strikeouts, getting Palladino looking. The Tanners were able to get 3 runs through the first 3 innings on 4 hits. But over their last 4 innings, Todd, Bourne held them just to 2 hits and no runs. And the offense able to come through for the Highlanders in timely moments. It was the bottom of the order in the early portions of the game. Caden Martell getting on base, following up Preston Ardolino stepping in and drilling that shot to put Somerville up 3-2. But the 4th inning for the Highlanders is where the big gunners really were able to show up and flex their muscles. And from Ardolino, Griffin, and Bourne, those 3 players in particular, they stand out to me, Todd, in this 6-3 win.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. We've seen the Highlanders, the bottom portion of their lineup, doing offensive damage today. It was the top portion of the lineup doing what they're here to do. It's Preston Ardolino, a huge game for Ardolino. He had 2 for 3, 1 single, 1 home run, 3 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, as well as 2 RBIs. A huge mammoth shot to left field for Preston Ardolino. Great job as well in the field, like we always expect for that hopeful future GBL MVP, as I like to call him. And Colin Bourne, just a tremendous game as well on the mound. He ended up going for the complete game, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, allowed 4 hits, over 7 innings of work. He will take the W. The loss goes to Jacob Crocker, 3.2 innings of work for Jacob Crocker. He allowed 6 runs, striking out 5. Jack Smith, he was a phenomenal pitcher out there for the Tanners as he stopped the bleeding, went 2 1/3, striking out 5 Highlanders and walking only 1. So a great job by Jack Smith, but the Highlanders able to get those runs across. They got the critical hits when they needed them. They were able to lay off of the pitches that weren't there, wait for their good pitches, and take care of it when they saw them.
Absolutely, and the damage that they were able to do facing 2 outs as well. And you mentioned the pitching earlier, Todd. The pitching was fantastic on both sides. Bourne obviously going the full 8, but even when you look at Crocker's stat line, he was able to really battle the 30-pitch first inning, settled himself down, and really just ran into some bad luck in that 4th inning and some hot bats, let's face it. I mean, it's not easy going up against Ardolino, Griffin, and Bourne. He strikes out Smith and Martell, and unfortunately could not keep the floodgates closed after that, with the order flipping back to the top. And then what Smith was able to do, though, I mean, 6-3 game. We had mentioned it plenty of times on the broadcast, Todd. You cannot rest on your laurels if you're Somerville, not against a team like Peabody. And so even with that lead, Smith knew what his job was. I need to come in and prevent runs. I need to get outs, and I need to get them quickly. Boy, did he ever. But unfortunately, that 3-run deficit, just too much for the Tanners to try and overcome here this afternoon.
So the Highlanders come away with the win. Great performance on the mound by Colin Bourne. Great performance at the plate by Bourne, Ardolino, as well as Tommy Griffin. Griffin as well. Great plays out in the outfield, saving a run out there as well. Just a great team win for the Highlanders against a quality team in the Tanners, avenging their lone loss of the season, getting their 8th win of the season, and that's going to set them up now to return to their GBL play next week, as they've got big games. Huge game at Lynn Classical. That'll be Monday at 4 o'clock on the road. We'll have coverage of the game against Medford, the reigning GBL champion. Medford Mustangs will be in here at Trum Field, 4 o'clock on Wednesday, and then Lynn English will be hosting the Highlanders as they travel to Lynn twice next week. Lynn, the city of sin. Hopefully they don't get caught over there. It'll be a 4:30 start at Lynn English as the Highlanders get back to their GBL schedule, where they are currently the top team as they have moved their record to 8-1 overall, 8-0 in the GBL. They are 1 win away from playoff contention. The Tanners drop to 5-6 overall. They've got work to do if they want to get into the Division I playoffs, but a tremendous job by both teams today. A very entertaining and exciting baseball game that we got to watch today, Tyler. Just really a great performance by the Highlanders to bring this all the way through. Colin Bourne started off struggling a little with control, ended up only walking one the entire game though, and ended up with that complete game win. Just a great performance.
And when you get that type of performance from your starter, from your ace, and from your leader, it really does serve as a trickle-down effect throughout everybody, whether it's the defenders behind him in the infield and outfield or the 9 guys stepping up to the plate to go and hit. When you see your pitcher doing what he was doing today on the mound, in control, battling through some adverse spots, but ultimately finding a way to get it done, it just inspires the other guys out there to continue on, fight on, and the Highlanders, against a really good opponent today in Peabody, found a way to earn redemption after that 7-6 loss.
No doubt about it. Great job by the Highlanders as they come away victors today by the score of 6-3. We will be back on Somerville Ed TV with volleyball action tomorrow on Thursday as they take on Burlington from Broome Fieldhouse. Then next week is Medford week. The Mustangs are coming for the Highlanders as we will have Highlander action against the Mustangs in baseball, volleyball, boys lacrosse, and girls lacrosse. All 4 of those have huge GBL implications for the Highlanders, and so be on the lookout for that here on Somerville Ed TV next week. Thank you so much for watching at home. Really do appreciate it. Thank you, Tyler Aragao, on commentary. Such a tremendous job. Bill Trudell, he's on camera. Joe Constantine, he is our director. My name is Todd Harmon, and you have been watching Somerville Highlander Baseball on Somerville Ed TV.